better.
So a couple weeks ago, well, let's backtrack. I would say about a month ago, I had reached out to the Bloomsburg Fair, which is like one of the biggest fairs in the state, or along the East Coast maybe. Now this is for my juicing business, right, called the Juice Pharmacy. And I had reached out probably 3 weeks away from the start of the event. This one guy was hounding me all year saying, you got to get into the Bloomsburg Fair. You guys are going to kill it. You're going to do so well. You got to do it. All year long, he's been telling me this. And I'm like, Dave, I get it, but I don't have the resources right now to do that big of a scale. You know, that's like the major leagues, you know, as far as businesses, vendors, you know, fairs. That's like the Mecca, you know, at least for around here. So you could say there was a little bit of doubt on my end, but yeah, he persisted all year long to the point where I'm 3 weeks out from the start of the event. I reach out to the vendor lady. She said, well, I don't know what I could do, but put the application in, and you know, if someone backs out or something, I'll let you know. So I did that. I didn't hear anything for a few days, and Dave was like, did you hear anything from her? No. Well, call her. I was like, okay. So I call her, and she's like, oh, I'm so glad you called, you know, because we get all these emails and, you know, don't have the chance to look at all of them, you know. So she went right to my application on the phone. Juice Pharmacy, okay, yep, selling all natural cold pressed juices. Oh, I love this. You know, we don't have anything like this. You know, they got cider and stuff like that, but not necessarily what we do. So she's like, I'm really big into health and fitness. I'm trying to get more healthy vendors in here because it's nothing but fried foods and sugary lemonades and stuff like that. So so she calls me and tells me, oh yeah, there's 3 spots that opened up. Pick one and let me know and we'll get you in. And one of the spots just so happened to have only opened for this year. So apparently they have vendors that stay in their spot every year. And this woman, I don't know what stand she had, but she like broke her ankle or something like that, like last minute. So she had to back out. And the spot that she had was on the most highly trafficked area of the entire event, which is no coincidence. So I ended up taking that space. And you know, we get there, it's just obstacle after obstacle that we had to climb through just to get there. We get there, the space they said was an 18 by 12. So that's what we were planning for. We had this big refrigerated truck, a tent, we had the whole thing planned out. We get there and there's already people there, already, you know, walking around, so it's a little chaotic. We have this big trailer in these tight spaces around these vendors that are already set up trying to get in. It ends up being a 15 by 8 space. So it took us like over an hour to get into this space. People were like walking around us. I mean, it was chaotic. And so that was the start of it. After we got through all that mess, you know, the word started spreading about the juice, you know, and our stand. And we had to makeshift our tent like so tiny. It was like, it was laughable, like our presentation. People came by and were like almost laughing or like commenting saying, wow, you guys got like a stick hut. Yeah. You know, that's it. We were like a joke to them, but we were there. And God planted us right in the middle of the whole fair in the busiest section. And, you know, we're handing samples out and this and that, and people are loving it. Oh my gosh, this tastes amazing. So many people saying, you guys got to come up here. You got to get a shop on Main Street in Bloom. You guys would kill it. There's nothing like it up here. So it's like, oh, great. So one of the days, I randomly got interviewed by these high school students at Mount Carmel High School. And they just started like a news station in the school. Like they used to do it when I went to school, but it was like the way they're doing it now, it's like a whole like actual newsroom. with the backdrop and everything. I was like, that's so cool. So this kid interviewed me, and they blasted it across their whole school, right? And as he left, we got a picture together. They're real cool kids. He comes walking by our stand, and I came back to our table area, and I was like, wow, what a blessing that was. And he goes walking by, and the back of his jacket, his last name says Blessing.
Oh, wow.
I'm saying, what? Like, God, you're amazing. Like, how are the chances of that? And then, oh my gosh, I could go on and on about the miracles God did. There were moms coming up to us with autistic kids saying, we cannot get him to eat or drink anything. And my kid is loving your juice. Like, what are the chances of that? And people just getting emotional, and the encounters, the conversations. It was like people were so receptive to it, and it's so refreshing, because around here it almost seems like in your hometown you're not accepted. People don't love what you do, it seems like. But up there where people don't know me, they're like, wow, we want more of this. Where have you been?
Prophet is not welcome.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's the saying? Prophet is not welcome in his own.
In his hometown or something. Yeah.
I want some. It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
It is. What was it that I had with you, Randy?
Watermelon and what was the other thing you put
Was
in
it pineapple?
That was it.
Yeah.
Watermelon, pineapple.
That was the one we sold out the fastest at the
It
fair.
was so good.
Yeah.
I was like, I need some of that.
I need more of that. Yeah. Yeah. So I have to write down more of it because there's a lot more, but we actually end up doing another festival, the Covered Bridge Festival, which is at the same space as the Bloomsburg Fair. It's just a smaller area of it, so it's not as big. But we end up doing that one, and it wasn't as lucrative, as the Bloom Fair, of course. But one of the conversations I had, it was a couple, and they're believers, and they come up, and we're having a great conversation. I share about the dream that I had in your living room. I don't know how many years ago that is now, that me, you, and I think your sister all saw the same vision of a tidal wave of God's glory coming on the earth. And it was so massive, I couldn't even put words to it, what I was seeing. Like, what we see with the physical eye, like the biggest tidal wave we've seen in videos or whatever, you cannot compare it to that. No physical eye has seen what I seen in that vision for me.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was.
I
can't even describe it.
No, I can't. And so I'm telling her about this. She starts chuckling. She's like, God showed me the same vision. And so we're going back and forth again. And I start saying, how the harvest is so great. And God is already ripening the hearts of the people right now for us to be positioned to receive the harvest. And I said the verse, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. She starts laughing again. She had something around her shirt kind of covered up. She pulls it away, and that's the very verse on her shirt. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So just like so many moments like that where I was like, wow, I'm in the right place. And God is doing something up in this area, up in Bloomsburg, Berwick, Danville, Lewisburg, all that whole area, central, northern PA. There's something to that I personally feel called to. And God wants to heal and deliver a lot of people up there, because it was almost a feeling like they're kind of left for themselves up there. Like they keep telling me there's no health food stores up here. We have like Walmart, Weis, and like one other store for groceries. So they don't know. They don't even have any education of like what healthy is. And I'm just like, my heart like went out for them, So, just it's humbling, It's humbling to have been used in that way, and I got glimpses of what God is going to do with the juice pharmacy. And the couple that I talked with, the guy was like, hey, do you mind if I pray for you right here and for your business? So I was like, yeah, absolutely. So people are walking by, and we're holding hands right there at my tent, and they're praying for me. And he specifically started praying that that people would begin to see the name, the Juice Pharmacy, popping up everywhere. And when he said that, it really connected with my spirit, and I felt that. I don't know how God's going to do that, but we're going to be everywhere, and people are going to get healed a lot from what we do with the natural remedies. I brought fire cider there. I didn't think that was going to move at all. Ended up almost selling out of the fire cider, So it's like people are shifting. And I think from COVID happening and all that, it was a big shift. And I don't know if I trust the doctors quite as much. Mm-hmm. And even the label doctor is going to be used differently now, where those who are more like me, the holistic nutritionists, the chiropractors, those naturopaths, they're going to be the doctors. Not the guys in the white coats with the titles and all that behind their name. It's going to be those guys who people look down upon and said, well, what does he have to offer? So I feel that. And I sense a big healing coming across our nation, physically.
Mm-hmm. It'll have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'll have to, because they're so connected with Big Pharma that you're being betrayed and lied to and deceived and everything else. So it's going to take God to heal the bodies of people, because we won't have any other recourse. There won't be any other option. Are we still on, Mike? Check me out that I didn't push the button off. Okay. All right. There's something else a couple of things I want to share with you. But thanks, Nick, because we'll be praying for you about that too. Let me see if I can get this. I need to get online. Am I on? I think I am. Where the heck is Facebook? Here. Well, I guess it's not going to let me do it. I'm trying to get on Facebook, but for whatever reason, it won't let me do it here. When I do it at home, I go right on. Yeah, it won't let me. Okay. Well, here's the deal. When did Milton hit Florida? What day was that? Was that a Wednesday? Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night we were praying for Florida because my cousin is down there, so we started praying about that. And honest to goodness, we started praying and the Spirit of the Lord just came over and started to pray what He wanted prayed. And I asked the Lord to put a wall of angels along the entire west coast of Florida that nothing could penetrate, nothing could invade or penetrate or get through from that hurricane, and that an angel of the Lord would stand up with his, I saw an angel of the Lord stand up with his fist out like that, and he said, "Come no further." It was like a police officer directing traffic, and he had his hand up like that. Huge angel, along with the wall that I saw. It was a literal wall, blocking the waves, the surge, all of that. And we got done praying, and what did you say to me?
I couldn't wait. I could barely wait till you were done praying because I saw that very same thing right before you started to pray.
Yeah.
So it was like God gave it
to both of us sitting there. Then we watched a broadcast from the Florida Fox News, I guess it was, or somewhere, that Diana sent to me. And you literally, and I wish I could get Facebook up, but you literally could see the storm coming towards the coast. And all of a sudden, the eye just completely disappeared before it hit the coast of Florida. It was unbelievable. I'm watching this thing. Oh my gosh. Everything just started to fall apart and deteriorate right before it hit the coast of the west coast of Florida. It was amazing. And she said in the post when she sent that to me that it was the results of all intercessors that were praying regarding that. It was just remarkable. Okay, now I have to go back to my bulletin and see where I am. Solomon, you had something you wanted to share this morning with us as well. So why don't you come on up and do that?
That's an interesting testimony, because if I watched the news, they were saying that the surge was not as bad as they expected.
I saw that too.
Everything was, was bad, but they expected it a lot worse.
Yeah. Well, I think it came in as a category 5 and ended up with a category.
It was coming at a category 5, but then the whole eye
It all deteriorated, fell
just
apart. It was a 3 when it
collapsed,
got there.
and it ended up only being.
It's amazing.
And like I said to you, to Diana's house, nothing happened to her house. The lawn chairs flew around a little bit. That was it.
And Nick reminded me of something I wanted to share, but I forgot until he reminded me. Yes, God does confirm His word. You know, the girl with the verse? Because last Sunday or Monday, I sent everyone a picture of a sword. And in the verse, Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. At Tuesday night Bible study, me and Steve had our after Bible study meeting, and we were discussing a matter. And as we got finished, Steve turned to me and said, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend, Solomon. I was like, and I know you don't have a cell phone, and I didn't send it to Steve. So I asked Steve, I said, did Pastor Randy show you the phone? I sent Pastor Randy that verse. Did he tell you, share that with you? You said no. And I was like, wow, God just confirms stuff like that. That stuff excites me. Anyway, last Monday night, I was reflecting on some things that I hear a lot. And a lot of times I feel guilty because I'm not doing it, and I know that I can, like getting up and praying at night or praying before you go to bed. And I sit up a lot. And since I'm not working now regularly, I can do that, and I can stretch myself. But, a lot of times at night, I'm up late and I'm falling asleep on the couch, and I just go to sleep. So I was reflecting on that, about praying at night before you go to bed, because that's when the enemy is active and whatnot. So I was so tired, and so I said, I'm going to pray tonight. So I got down on my knees and prayed right on my couch, and I just asked the Lord, I said, Lord, can you show me what's going on behind the scenes? Can you show me what's going on in the spirit realm? And is all this stuff real and true that I'm hearing, on these different things I click on, spiritual messages and stuff and warnings? And I prayed and prayed on that, and I went to sleep. And the Lord, He's faithful, because He definitely showed me some things. He gave me a dream, and I knew it was a dream like no other dream. I know the difference between, just casual dream, and I knew this was from the Lord. And I got up that morning and I said, let me write this down now immediately before it escapes me. So I wrote it, I got on my phone and I just dictated it, with the message, with the recorder, and then later on I rewrote it. And this is what the Lord gave me. And after I read it, I'll share my interpretation of whatever parts that I thought, I could interpretate, but I would invite anyone, because, I don't have all the answers. And I would invite, if you get anything out of this, feel free to say, what the Lord gives you. Anyway, with that, I'll begin. I saw people on a straight and narrow 3x5 like thin line, more like a board, a 3x5 board, stretched out high over a large, dark, deep, black hole. and they were walking over it, trying to get over to the other side. The board broke, and they hung over the pit, holding on to the edge of the cave as they worked their way to the other side, crawling along the side of the wall of the cave. They were trapped and hysterically looking to find a way out of this captivity. They searched to no avail. They were helpless and trapped. Then I saw a helicopter high in the sky. And while I'm dreaming this and while I'm seeing this, I'm thinking also in my mind, and because my spirit's awake, and I'm like thinking, I'm asking the Lord, a helicopter? What's a helicopter for? And I understood that their escape was only available by airlift. They could only be lifted out by airlift. Okay, now this is another scene. There's 5 scenes. This is the second scene. Then I saw a woman enter a place of gathering. She had on a beautiful hat type thing on her head, and she was dressed in very fine apparel. As she came in, she made a call. This is the third scene, different scene. They're jumping to different visions. Then I saw a long table stretched before me with people sitting in various chairs, with some of the chairs empty. There was a fine screen or structure or like fence before me and the long stretched table, keeping outsiders from entering in to what appeared to be a feast. I thought to myself, take out your phone and take a picture of those sitting at the table. But at that time, I heard a soft, still voice say to me, no, everyone's not here yet. Wait till everyone arrives. Fourth scene. Then I saw those who had been trapped in the dark cave above the bottomless pit. They had now arrived safely, and I understood they were arrived by airlift. And they were received by the others at the feast with love and rejoicing. And this is the fifth and final scene. It jumps to this. In the next and final scene, I saw a man's wallet. It was just out there in the open space. I thought to myself, is this mine? Or did I lose it or whatever? I didn't understand. So I opened it up. I saw cards and money neatly stuffed inside, along with a thick roll of money in a rubber band. I felt relieved. Just then I noticed a strange man lurking nearby watching me, who would have obtained it had I not come sooner. And that's it. So, to me, I felt like it was the rapture. Airlift, a helicopter. That's what I was thinking in my dream when I'm like, a helicopter, and these people trapped in a cave, and the only way for them to be rescued was airlift. So I was like, the rapture? And well, we know the dark pit. I know that the Lord rescued me out of a pit. What, Psalm 40, 1 through 3? I waited on the Lord, I cried upon him, he heard my cry, and he lifted me up out of a pit, a miry clay, and set my feet upon solid ground and established my goings. The Bible talks about a pit, and it talks about a bottomless pit. So I was putting all this together. It's a pretty good dream to me, I think. It's positive. I mean, and then the fifth part, the wallet, I couldn't understand. Money being left behind after the rapture, when God lifts his people in the rapture, we're going to leave a lot of money behind. People are going to leave money in the banks. You can't take it with you. And while we have the opportunity, this is what I was thinking personally about the wallet. I was kind of feeling a little bit guilty because I was feeling like, okay, if Christ was to come and rapture me, what am I doing now that I could be doing for the Lord with my finances instead of just accumulating and getting a bigger bank account and just saving it when there is people who could be blessed with it. This is what I was thinking about myself personally in the dream, when I woke up that morning, like, you know, somebody else is going to get my money because there was a man lurking right near me. I thought the wallet was mine, like I maybe had lost it. But yet if I'm raptured and then I see the wallet with all this money and stuff, and now somebody who's the man represent? The government? If I'm raptured, if we're raptured, and we have our finances down here in the bank, the man, who's he represent? The government maybe? Coming to if you don't have relatives, I don't have family, I don't have kids, or just hackers, or in other words, somebody else is going to get that money. Anyway, that's my thought on it. So, but I know it's from the Lord though. So you tell me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me undo you before you walk off.
Oh yeah, sure. So I
Okay.
kicked a lot of stuff around there, but hey.
Yes, David.
This weekend, I was reading Jeremiah, and the Lord spoke to me while I was reading that, and he said,